Hello everyone, I am Tacit and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War, We Are the Champions event, in which the Vulpine Champion is added to the game. Also, thank you everyone for coming out to the 7-year anniversary of the channel. It was a lot of fun last weekend, and this is basically the 7-year anniversary day as well, in a sense, because of course what we actually based it on was the first week we ever posted the weekly videos, and you know, by that I mean this video right now. But anyways, with that being said, let's get into everything. We'll be showing about 9-ish teams, going over most of the things going on this week, and going from there. And gosh, there is a lot of things go on. One of the most noteworthy, well, two pretty noteworthy, just to mention right off the bat. We are likely getting the version 6.9 patch, nice, this Tuesday, probably around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which coincidentally is also when we stream. It's either going to be today, tomorrow, or sometime very soon, but very likely within the next day or two. So look forward to that. It's mostly going to be a campaign rework. It's the reason we don't currently have a campaign going on. And of course, it has to happen, well, within the next 6 days and 23 hours. And today or tomorrow are the most likely days for that patch to occur, as it definitely has to happen at some point. The other thing that's pretty cool is this is actually the first week ever where we have had a Guild War, a Raid event, and it doesn't say it here, but also an Invasion event all in the same week. The main reason for this is Raid and Invasion events back in the day used to be week-long events. They never really had a weekend variant. And while Raids and Guild Wars could happen at the same time, and Invasion and Guild Wars could happen at the same time, this is the first time ever we've ever had Guild Wars, Raids, and Invasion all happening at the same time. Particularly this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when we end up having the Invasion event. But anyways, let's start getting into things. Let's start with the Glory Troop. So unfortunately, this guy's really bad. Nothing really redeeming about it. It gets to choose one of the following. It either deals some damage to an enemy, a very small amount with no follow-up at all on anything, literally nothing, or eliminate all armor from an enemy. Biggest issue with this eliminate all armor, while it isn't horrible, it doesn't do it for a mana cost that is particularly good. It's 11. Maybe if it was like an 8 or something, or 6, that we could get away with that. But the problem with this is there's just so many other options. There are dozens upon dozens of things between weapons and troops that have the capability of eliminating armor. So having an option that just does that for 11 mana costs is very bad. He also doesn't have enough redeeming traits. He has the standard 25% that pretty much all these things have, which isn't particularly good, but if nothing else, saves you from having to run a 20% mana start, so you can run other things, but it's not a particularly good trait compared to like fast, 75%, obviously power comparatively. And of course also armor just doesn't really do much. It's overall just a really useless troop used to upgrade the kingdom. Speaking of which, where's Vulpine up to these days? Did it actually not even gain a star level? No, it didn't! It's still stuck at 9. Gosh, it takes so many on the earlier levels to get the thing upgraded. But yeah, even with 2 more troops, still hasn't moved. Speaking of Vulpine, of course the event key drop table for this week is associated to Vulpine. One thing that's pretty noteworthy about this being a Vulpine event week is this is actually the very first Vulpine event week since the event before. So if you wanted to get any of the paid stuff, like in Soulforge and stuff, the stuff that was money locked, it is all available this week. So for example, one of those was Vulpine Hunter, which you might not have gotten yet, potentially. This was the money locked legend that was on the paid side when we ended up having the Vulpine event a couple months back. And yeah, you can find it in event keys right now if you want to. So there's that. There's the Phoenix if you didn't end up picking up that up. It's also pretty good for one of the events. The only things that are not in drop table as far as event keys are concerned is the Wheel of Fortune, which I am actually not sure if this is in Vault keys yet, oddly enough. I cannot confirm or deny it. I don't think it is yet, despite everything else being. But yeah, this might not even be obtainable right now for free to play. I'm not 100% certain on that, as I haven't seen much mention of that really being a thing. But aside from that, the things you cannot get in event key are the Wheel of Fortune and the 4 faction troops, of course. As you would expect, the 4 Court of Foxes. For everything else that you see here, you can. With the most noteworthy ones being the Phoenix if you didn't pick it up, the Legend if you are playing free-to-play and haven't picked it up since then, because I believe it is in drop table, but you know, the chance of randomly grabbing it, very unlikely until today. So if you want to get it for event keys. And also, sorry, there's one other one that's not in event key drop table, the Sable Spirit Bane. This is the Raid troop for the Raid event that we have going on this week. He's only available from the Raid event shop, but you could bypass it just by buying the lower tiers. Generally how you want to do that is just buy 250 gems worth. That'll give you the weapon, that'll give you the troop, and then you could just simply double blue orb him, and then boom, he's maxed. Or you can wait to upgrade him at a later point and just keep him at the epic rarity for the event. But anyways, yeah, for the most part, nothing really too special here. It's a particularly, like the main gimmick, of course, of this place is that it's, well, actually I shouldn't say that. Tad Greenwood is like insane, but ignoring him, everything here is pretty average. The main issue that it has is they all have like this 25% mana start. That doesn't really do much. They all also have a choose mechanic, which can slow you down in battle a lot of times, and most of the choose mechanics weren't particularly good, which is kind of a good thing and a bad thing in a sense. If they're too good, then like literally the whole meta would just be choose options. But most of them just don't do enough options. Like some of them are pretty cool, like Vulpine Hunter, what it could do, as well as the Mythic, as far as the option that it has. But for the most part, it's a pretty average kingdom that is carried almost entirely by the 2 higher rarity stuff and Todd Greenwood. Todd Greenwood being for infinite greens. But anyways, overall, it's an average week. It's one of the lowest amount of troops of any kingdom, so there's not much to be able to get from the current event. Anyways, as far as guild-related events, of course, we do have the good old guild wars. While not going over any teams or anything, we did end up snagging Paragon, so we'll be able to test some defend teams, maybe switch up what we have, kind of get some data on what kind of win rates they can end up getting, as we haven't had Paragon for about a month or 2, so nice to end up having again, just to kind of see what we can end up doing with it. But of course, as per usual, make sure all your defend teams are unique, so you get the full 12,000 points. As long as it says 12,000 when it pops up any second now, you know that you have the maximum amount of points. Come on, there we go. So we're getting the maximum amount of points, and then just make sure to use a pure color team every single day, and ideally win all 5 battles. Then your guild just gets a bunch of rewards. Payout of Guild Wars still pretty underwhelming if you're not in bracket 1, but overall it's a fun little game mode to mess around with, and we'll be messing around with it every night this week when we do our standard streams. Aside from that, here in the channel, we do have a raid event going on. Raid event plays out pretty similarly as well. We have a Vulpine restriction, which is pretty restrictive as there isn't too many things to use. Oh yeah, I did double Phoenix for this one. Of course, you could replace that for other mana accumulators. But yeah, you don't have too many options. We have Vulpine Hunter, as I mentioned. We have Phoenix, as I mentioned. We do have an interesting mana accumulator here. I ended up using this for, I believe, the Thursday class event team. But it can end up giving all other allies half their mana, which, you know, you can just keep doing that over and over again to feed something full mana. Obviously, the most noteworthy one is Todd Greenwood. I believe I did this on the cheaper team. You can just spam a billion Todd Greenwoods and you're pretty much good to go. You can literally just do 4 of this guy and you will probably be fine. Or 3 of it with a tank, or, you know, however you want to do it. But you could literally go 4 of him, and he just creates so many greens into himself. He boost ratios off himself. He does a lot of damage. He gives, like, infinite mana once he gets going. Just don't get frozen and you'll be good to go. And unfortunately, I don't think this place really has any cleanse, so once he does get frozen, kind of bad. But there's not much in this game mode that really can end up freezing you, as I don't believe the Zolgoth variant is a freeze variant this week. Fiery, yes. I assume the fiery one does not freeze you. Assumably, it burns you. That'd be really weird if it did freeze you. Because all these Zolgoths during these events have, like, a special effect. And this guy's probably just, like, burn all enemies or something. They all have, like, a portion of what the actual Zolgoth does. Anyways, yeah, pretty straightforward raid event. It's just we don't have that many options to use is the biggest issue that you'll probably run into. But overall, if you really had to, you could just mang down the boss and then hit it. You could just go infinite on the green creation off the Todd and just keep doing it over and over again. So overall, shouldn't be that hard, despite the lack of options this week. Anyways, as far as other things we have going on this week, a spring event, and I will cover a team in this video. I actually forgot last week. It completely slipped my mind, but of course, any green team, you could use Leprechaun, you could use Rowan. I think the main team we have here that we've been using is Double Truffle. But yeah, there's a lot of options you could end up using. Basically, the way that you want to do this event, as mentioned last week, is essentially do your free 3 battles, spend 50 gems in order to get additional 3, and this will allow you to get all the rewards. All the rewards being 1 copy of the Spring Armor, 1 copy of the Beltane, buying the pet 6 times, 5 gets it max, and the 6th one gives you 1 gold variant that you can max at a later point, and then a Power Orb if you want to go for it. You save about 300 gems if you skip on the Power Orb. However, a Power Orb for a couple hundred gems, pretty good value, especially if you still need Zolgoth and a Rage Carandera. And even if you don't need those troops, it's good to get them for that cheap, in case Power Orbs have a purpose in the future, as you should never, ever use them to upgrade a troop, as is horrible value. But I would still advise stocking up on them for the eventual usefulness of this orb. And of course, if you still need Zolgoth and Rage Carandera, definitely put it towards that, with Zolgoth being the higher priority one. Aside from that, which is finishing up this week, so definitely make sure to get progress into it every day. And that is one that you have to do every single day. Otherwise, you do lose a bit of progress, or progress that you could have had. Anyways, Tuesday we have the faction event for the Vulpine faction, for the Fox Court, Court of Foxes, I believe it's called. That is a green-red restriction. So we have that going on. Green-red has quite a few mana accumulators, most notably Leprechaun, of course. So basically just form a bunch of damage around the 2 good mana accumulators. You could do like Marilith Leprechaun or something similar. Wednesday, we have a new pet coming in. I believe it's just red bonus, but we do have a brand new pet, so definitely make sure to get that. It will be in the drop table pretty much immediately after. However, with how many there are in the drop table, it will take forever to try to find this thing, so definitely make sure to pick it up on Wednesday. However, it's a non-cosmetic one, so you will be able to get it very easily into the future. Thursday, we have ourselves the Spirit Walker class event, which is kind of funny, because I've been slowly leveling up this hero class, and I think we're actually going to have it on level 100 exactly on this day. So that's a pretty funny coincidence. Of course, you do get some amount of free XP towards your hero class as well. So if you happen to have not maxed over the last month or 2 or whenever it came out, well, you get some more XP for it this Thursday. And surprisingly, that'll be exact enough for us to get it maxed. Unfortunately, it doesn't gain much of a benefit for being maxed. which is why I haven't really rushed it down. It's one of those that gains most of its benefit at getting to level 70 rather than 100. But overall, it's still like nichely used, mostly when you're using the Todd for like green spam, just to make sure you're using a hero so you have the 4 times Vulpisia for his boost ratio. Or sorry, the 4 times War Gear for his boost ratio. But aside from that, it's not really used too much. It does have a mana drain gimmick, but I don't really feel like it's worth using compared to just a mana draining weapon or something similar. Anyways, this Friday we have ourselves a invasion event. So, actually, does it even show it here? I don't think it does. No, it does, right there. 3 days and 23 hours. But yeah, this Friday we're going to be having an invasion event. It's a Fey invasion event. You're going to be getting a Fey explodey weapon. And aside from that, we have some guy that armor tiers while doing a bunch of damage. It should be an absurdly easy invasion. Among one of the easier ones you have, will ever have. Because not only do you have 5 times damage, but you have armor tier with 5 times damage. So they just drop like absolute nothing. So you just form a bunch of mana accumulators around the invasion troop and just tear it all apart. And very, very easy invasion, among one of the easiest ones we could ever have. Aside from that, let's see, we did that. Oh, okay, Soulforge. So, as far as Soulforge is concerned, pretty underwhelming. Nothing really worth going out of your way for. There are things like Umanef and Vashtagan, but they're ultra, super situational troops. Umanef basically being weaker Zolgoth, and Vashtagan basically being weaker Karandera and Rage Karandera. There are some niche instances where they are used, because this thing has Brown Curse if you're spamming a lot of Brown. And this thing has a better first slot advantage compared to Zolgoth, but has a harder time killing compared to Zolgoth. But compared to a first slot Zolgoth, it gets rid of Impervious, but instead has 2 times skull damage combined with skull dodge. So it makes it a little bit better when using the skulls, but it sacrifices Impervious. So, you know, you're not immune to freeze, you're not immune to entangle, and your ability is also way worse at securing a kill, whereas Zolgoth is 100% guaranteed, of course, to secure the kill, assuming they don't have immune to insta-kill. Anyways, aside from that, yeah, so overall, pretty skippable week when it comes to Soulforge, at least in that regard. As far as weapon, though, if you did not get any of the old paid weapons, so where are those? What are some of the old paid ones that isn't this one? Wasn't there another one? Where are they? They should be here. Hey, which one was the $5 money locked one? Did they actually do one? Hold up. Where's the other weapon? There should be one more weapon here. Am I that blind? There should be one more weapon. Why is it not a Soulforge? I see the Foxfire Tome, but there should be one other one here too. Yeah, I'm not sure where it is, but if you didn't get that weapon in the past, definitely make sure to get it. Is it not here? There should be one more weapon in the Soulforge. I'm going crazy. But anyways, definitely make sure to get Orb of Vulpisia. This was a $10 weapon that you could have technically gotten at some points for $5, but this is the first day and first week that you can get it for free. And as you can see, I don't even have it either. And there we go. Now we have it. So definitely make sure to pick that up, as today and this week is the first time to ever get it for free, or, you know, the small amount of resources, basically free. So if you're going for completion's sake, definitely make sure to pick it up. You might need it for kingdom upgrades too, as there aren't too many weapon options for this place. But yeah, let me go double check. I didn't actually look at this earlier. What is the $5 weapon for this place? Because I'm pretty sure they made one of them $5 locked. Vulpine's Edge, apparently they made money locked. Was this the one that was available for free or not? Wait, why is this one? Wait. Why on earth is the crate green red one money locked? I am so confused. They did something wrong. They never money lock this type of weapon. Okay, I am absurdly confused. But anyways, yeah, that's weird. But yeah, that's not the one that should be money locked there. And there's also some missing from Soulforge, so I'm not sure what's up with that. There's something fishy going on there. But I'm not sure if that's a mistake or what exactly. But anyways, should have looked at that beforehand to even realize that. But yeah, at least get the free one from Soulforge if nothing else. Anyways, in other news, let's go over all the teams. So as far as all the teams, we're going to be going over 9 of them, covering basically everything except Guild War, as obviously Guild War just requires too many things. We'll be going over every single night when we do our standard stream. Anyways, let's start from the top. So, raid event. As you saw, this expensive team, you could end up replacing out its Phoenix for obviously a different damage source, a different mana accumulator. One team I didn't actually show that you can, of course, do is Mang into Sable. Of course, the standard Mang into Raid Slayer troop. I personally did not go down that route for either of these two. This one goes down a heavy true damage route, and the lower rarity one ends up going down the spam Todd until you win route. And I just put this here just because why not, just to offset the color a little bit. However, Todd has so much damage output that you could just go 4 of him if you really wanted to. But it's mostly just make sure you can get rid of Zolgoth in a slightly more timely manner. In case this infinite loop doesn't get off the ground, you'll at least have a second option until the infinite loop is off the ground, and then use infinite loop on them until you win. You could replace out first slot for a tank. You could put like Hero Mang there as Titan, or Hero as any of the Barrier on Brown hero classes. And you could do that if you find you're dying too much. But otherwise, just spam Todd until you win in any strategy you wish, and that'll be the easiest way to get done the event. Next, we have the faction event for this Tuesday. This Tuesday is a red-green restriction for that of the Court of Foxes associated to Vulpisia. So with green, red, obviously you can run any weapon you want, and with this, we're just basically running standard Rowan build, pretty much as standard as you can get. You can go Black Manic or something similar if you want, if you're just doing the lower range. However, this can technically go all the way to 500 if you want to run it that way. This next team is running a Ubistet Rope Dart team. We're mostly just doing a Marilith Leprechaun. If you don't have these two options, you can simply just go any best 2 damage sources you have. The main base of the team is Marilith Leprechaun. The other 2 things are just here simply for the best damage output option you have, so whatever that happens to be. Next, we have the Pure Faction team of a nice diverse team of just Foxfire King. You can end up replacing out for 1 mana accumulator if you so choose in order to cover 1 additional color, but I don't believe any of the good mana accumulators here cover 2 different colors, so it's not really worth using them necessarily. The main premise with this is you spam true damage until you win, and that's pretty much the whole plan. You can also take red in order to fairy fire them in order to damage pressure even further, which is nice. Next, we have ourselves the Spirit Walker class event. This is specifically a Vulpacia War Gear restriction. So you can only use war gears from Vulpacia, which is pretty much the entire kingdom for the most part. And we're basically just using its mana drain or mana accumulation over and over and over again in order to feed Black Manacle. You could do it with a different way. The main reason I went for Black Manacle is it has purple link. It's also the only thing from this kingdom with any amount of link. It even has a Dark Storm at start of battle to make it even easier. And basically, we're just massive mana accumulating into Black Manacle. We actually have +6 purple on this team. 3 from Archmages and 3 from the Harper. So you're going to get a ton of purple. Sorry, +7. You can actually go +8 as well. I forgot about the banner. So you can go as high as +8. This particular team goes +7. Just in case there's no purple, I went down the brown route so we could 2-turn brown. Because +9 purple isn't really needed. Or +8, I mean. When you already have so much. +7 is fine into double brown. Which is the way we go down on that team. Anyways, next we have the Invasion Weekend. This will be taking place obviously this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. As far as the main strategy, basically spam Old Man Oakroot until you win. He's very strong. He eliminates all armor from an enemy and deals a bunch of damage to them. And it does 5 times damage. So not only are you getting rid of all the armor, but you'll be one-shotting them pretty much the entire time. Even if you're going for leaderboard, you pretty much never stop one-shotting due to the armor tier, as you only have to deal with their HP value, and you're 5 times hitting their HP value, so they will always die. On top of that, you even have score reduction, which is nice. I'm going to Leaf Storm when they die, which is nice, since you're generally going to be a pretty heavy green team in most of these situations. And of course, he does 5 times damage to towers, assuming you have maxed it. This first team here is slightly more expensive as you use the Fairy Ring. If you don't have the Fairy Ring, you cannot get it this week. However, there's a cheaper alternative. Just go double Leprechaun, and just double Oakroot into double Leprechaun, and you're good to go. Just keep spamming Leprechaun, get Old Man Oakroot down, keep spamming against the enemy team, and you'll win in no time. Should be one of the easier invasion events we've ever had. So pretty straightforward. And aside from that, of course, the spring event. I forgot to mention any teams last week, but there's a lot of things with Leprechaun. You can even go down the Todd route if you want to do even more Todd teams this week. And go like 4 Todds or something similar. But we just kind of went with Truffle Loop, just using a mana accumulation weapon. If you don't have this, it doesn't really matter too much. Honestly, even just a 3rd Truffle would be fine. Or even do what we did on the other team and go like double Truffle, double Leprechaun, and just have a bunch of mana accumulation that way. But basically, you just want to spam out AoE until you finish out the event. It's a pretty straightforward event as far as the spring event is concerned, especially with access to green, as we have Leprechaun, Marilith, Truffle, Todd, and, you know, a billion other things like that. So a lot of good damage sources, and you just spam AoE until you end up winning. Anyways, guys, I believe that'll wrap it up for now. If you guys still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. The entire list of all the teams will also be down there if you want to go and copy-paste save them. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will catch you all later, and probably in version 6.9 very soon, as we'll be getting that in the next day. That'll be reworking the campaign system, supposedly doing something else as well. However, the main bulk of the patch will be a complete overhaul of the campaign system. Based on how it's been described so far, it sounds actually kind of good. They're mostly replacing it for generic tasks like kill X enemies, kill X of red, you know, match X amount of a color gem. Things you would passively get done without having to go out of your way. Because they notice how many people have been re-rolling them anyways. So it seems like they're making it a little bit better. Hopefully it won't be worse in any way. We'll find out when it comes out in the next day or so. So we'll have that to look forward to. And of course, a new campaign starting next week once that campaign system is in place. Anyways, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Catch you guys later, and thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.